All right, good morning, everyone. It is 5:15 in the morning. I'm going to take you guys through a sprint workout that I typically like to do for myself. I think sprinting is a vital part of being able to be a strongman athlete. So I'm going to take you through what it looks like for me to do some sprinting and then just kind of discuss it and why we should be doing it as strongman athletes. So show you how I prep for it, how I do it, and we'll go from there. It is weird trying to film inside the wellness center. This is where I work. Um, Typically, I'm filming in the garage. I don't really I mean, no one's here, but because it's 5 in the morning. But it does feel weird to be talking to myself right now. I'll try to work out. So typically, I would do instead of just doing this boring dynamic warm up, I would just shoot some hoops to warm up. I think playing a game, first off, is way more fun than just doing a dynamic warm up that we've all done like a gajillion times. Gets you firing a little bit more, and I just like it more too. But I could feel as I squatted yesterday that I was extra stiff. So I knew that this going through dynamic warm up, taking a little bit more time in the warm up stage to warm up instead of just ripping off some hoops and then saying that's good enough. Knew that this would be good for the body. So I think it's important to note that when I say this is a sprint workout, I'm thinking today at least is like a acceleration based focused. So you might think it's a little strength and conditioning, a little like actual athlete specific, but being a strongman athlete, you're gonna have to be able to sprint in between implements, sprint back to the start line. All right, so warm-up's done. It took us about 8 minutes to do all of that. Did a few things I just didn't toss in there. But it's basically getting your body feeling good. Okay, the first exercise that we're gonna do is some resisted sprints. So I'm gonna be using a Spud Inc. Magic Carpet sled. I'm gonna put 65 pounds on the sled. Gonna pull it. It's a good way to start sprinting, at least start the workout, because with the added weight, it's pretty hard to actually get up to maximal speed. So it helps get the hamstrings, get the body warmed up a little bit before you get moving. So a lot of people think when they think sprinting, especially in the context of strongman, you're thinking conditioning. You're thinking, oh, I need to get in shape. I'm going to do sprints on the bike, like the assault bike, or I'm going to do these short little sprints, but do them on intervals and speed. And so while that has a ton of value, highly recommend that everyone does those. What my focus is right now is working on my maximal speed and getting the hamstrings used to doing a full out burst. Because when we do a conditioning workout, we're typically like probably sprinting at like 70-80% of like a maximal. And so you're not like fully going out there. With doing a maximal sprint, it's when your hamstring is going to be exposed to the most amount of force. And that's what we're trying to train, in addition to improving speed. It's really injury prevention at this point, to make sure that we're not doing any injuries to ourselves when we start running in comp day. Because when comp day comes, that adrenaline hits you and you're like, oh, I gotta go. But if you haven't trained going, you're not gonna go. Another point over how I think a lot of people get actual sprint training wrong is not taking your rest, thinking of it like go, go, go. And you wouldn't do that with, I always give the analogy of like, we wouldn't test our 1RM or hit like a 9 RPE squat for a single, and then 30 seconds later, do another one. It's no different with sprinting. I'd even argue that like with the amount of forces you're acting with the body, like how fast you're having to move at sprinting, how intense it is on the body, there should be even more break. The general rule of thumb is like for every 10 yards you're doing is a 1 minute rest. So I usually keep it about 10 yards with my acceleration days, just so I can actually get through my workout, because I do this workout before clients show up at 6, and so I only have about 45 to 50 minutes to actually complete this whole thing. And so that's why I keep it shorter usually. It's just time restraints. Also, I just don't like sitting around for forever, but it's important. This is the last resisted sprint I'm going to do, and then I'm going to do a few unresisted, and we'll see where we're at. Might do a little dynamic starts with it after that. See where we are at time-wise. We're going to do unresisted sprints, 3 rounds with the resisted sled, magic carpet sled from Spud Inc. Great for using on gym floors. Don't use it on concrete. Learn that the hard way. Should have been obvious, but I'm stupid. All right, now we're going to do unresisted sprints, just a 10-yarder, and going to do 3 or 4 of these. Not a ton of volume in this workout. Like I said, we're working on maximal intent of just that first 30 feet, and then call it a day. Usually when it's a little bit warmer outside, I'll take this on the track, the outdoor track, and do longer distances. Right now, with it having snowed like 4 inches and it being 30 degrees out, it's not really feasible. So winter months are made for building that acceleration. Boy, I know it wasn't that fast. It's because I'm not that fast. But do you feel absolutely flying after doing some heavy resisted sprints and then going to just let her go? Fantastic. I want to go full maximal out sprints on your first go out, because just like I said just a bit ago, the analogy of doing a maximal rep squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, you wouldn't do that day one of trying to do that movement. So if you're not like super used to doing sprints, you're more of a strongman shuffle guy, but you're sprint curious, this probably wouldn't be the best starting point. What you would do is just take this workout, doing some resistance sprints, doing some short sprints, and then just modulate the intensity. So this is where RPE can be like really helpful. You can just say the first couple times I'm doing it, I'm doing like a 7 out of 10 or an 8 out of 10 sprint. Instead of going, I gotta hit it as fast as I can for 10 yards. If your hamstrings aren't built for that at this point, it's gonna be tough. And you're just gonna feel really sore. Hip flexors are gonna hurt, maybe you'll get some shin splints, hamstrings. I don't want to deter you from sprinting. I think it's one of the most important things we can do. But you have to understand, build yourself into it, and then start hitting maximal sprints. Whether it feels awkward here, then game day. All right, this will be our last sprint of the day. Got clients showing up in another couple minutes. Want to make sure